His reality turned upside down when she suddenly declared them engaged. Shiori is a princess. She is leaving the island to see the new world for her deceased grandma. Her mother believes she will return, so there is no need to say goodbye to her later. Our soon-to-be Prince Ikaru, as he graduated high school and debuted as a manga artist, lost his father, so he decides to take care of his siblings by living off manuscript fees and the rent from the apartment building that he inherited. Ikaru wants to send his siblings to college. Ikaru is concerned about his manuscript deadline when he receives a call from his manager, who informs him that he has found a new assistant. Maki said she would predict his future, which came out blank like his manuscript. Later, when Ikaru goes to pick his assistant, he sees a beautiful girl who turned out to be our Princess Shiori, whom he asks, "Are you my assistant?" She says yes, and as they reach his house, he tells her about his deadline, "So I need to work right now." Ikaru brings his hoodie and tells her to please wear it because her dress looks expensive, so you don't have to worry if it gets dirty. Shiori, start working right away. Ikaru is so impressed by her work that he ends up asking, "How long have you been working?" She says, "I learned this from a shoujo manga lesson book, and this is her first time working." Later, Maki and Fumio came back, and Ikaru introduced Shiori to them. Maki says, "You are making her work non-stop and you even forgot to show her around the house. Where is the kitchen sink restroom?" Maki shows Shiori around and tell her about everything, that Ikaru is a landlord and manga artist, and we live in this house along with our cousin Chihiro, that there is a bathhouse near and shows her assistant room, and that she ended up liking it a lot later. Ikaru asks where Shiori Maki is. She says she is in her room, eating alone. Maybe she has a mouth behind his head, or maybe an animal spirit is why she wants to eat alone. Ikaru says don't say weird things. In terms of her skill, she is a pro level. No, she may be a god level skill. Maki says she hopes she stays here while working, and they take a tea break. Maki notices Shiori making tea and approaches her that you should rest, because if you keep working like that, it will be like working for a black company. Shiori says she was expecting even fewer breaks. Cause of the deadline, Maki says his brother Ikaru is not good at asking for help, even with work. He is saving money to send us to college and trying to be a parent. To us, he tries to take care of everything by himself. Shiori says your siblings have a great connection even without communicating with each other. Maki says please try to rest later. Ikaru also says to Shiori that you should rest now and he will take care of it. She says let me keep working and tell you that. About myself, I am nearly 19 years old, and before this year, I had never read any manga. Ikaru is shocked and says it's unusual. Maybe your parents didn't let you. Shiori says yes, but it's just my grandmother loved books and she let me alone see her collection. Your manga was part of it. I was surprised. Ikaru thinks, did I draw something weird in that manga? Shiori says she's never read about a misunderstanding leading to a quarrel, but somehow a mysterious fever called love grows out of it all. Ikaru says, because that's shoujo manga with its constant ups and downs from one problem to the next. Shiori says, but I found all that discomfort to be touching. Ikaru says usually the workload is evenly paced. Can I continue to count on you? She said yes, and later, early in the morning, they start working again. And day goes by. Ikaru says you should go rest now. Shiori says she can keep going. Ikaru says the work is almost done, but he later finds a page is missing. Shiori asked, what do you mean the manuscript's missing one? Ikaru panics and keeps searching for it. He later finds it and is shocked that it's almost blank. Shiori says she can help him. Ikaru thinks a rough sketch inking that'll take 2 to 3 hours. Should I ask Shiori for help? But it'll be too much to ask and I'll finish just in time if I don't sleep. Shiori says to Ikaru, I am unable to guess your feelings. If you really want my help, please tell me honestly. Ikaru keeps thinking that if I lose this month manuscript pay, what will happen? He starts having flashbacks about the past, and his mother won't help them because she has her new life. Maki says to keep working hard on your manga. Shiori says, do you need assistance? Ikaru says yes, please help me. I really don't want to cut corners. Please work with me all night. I'll give you overtime pay. Shiori says let's do it, and then they finally finish the manuscript by morning. Both are tired, and Ikaru says he will make copies. Send an email and check it over. Shiori, you should go to sleep now. Ikaru comes back thinking I haven't done an all-nighter in ages, then fell asleep for a brief moment. He finds Shiori fell asleep there too. Ikaru sees something on Shiori that seems like a G-pen sticking to her. He gets worried as Shiori starts moving. He ends up touching it. He ends up in outer space along with her. Shiori pulls him back, pissed off, and tells Ikaru, now that you and my stinger have been linked, that amounts to the two of us vowing to bind our destiny together. In my land, it's an act permitted only to those in a marital relationship. I never thought you were the type to touch someone's body while they're asleep. Ikaru says I just had a hallucination. You have the wrong idea. I thought there was a sharp object stuck to you. He shows her that's how it looked. Shiori says you were trying to save me. Ikaru says yes, but I messed up. I am sorry. If I hadn't been half asleep, I wouldn't have mistaken it. Shiori says it's okay. It seems like you wanted to save me. Ikiru wonders what was that stinger thing. It was like a tail. Are there people with tails? Shiori says to Ikiru, you and I just met and you don't know anything. Maybe it was lucky that it happened this way. Ikiru tells Shiori that even though we just met, he already knows that you're reliable. He is sorry for what happened and feels awkward right now rather than lucky. Shiori says physical contact between those who trust one another must be wonderful, like in love stories. Ikiru asks Shiori, who are you? Shiori tells Ikiru, I am the princess of the star people, and I do not desire marriage or mishap. I believe that love should come first. Ikiru, shocked, ends up saying, you shouldn't joke like that with a coworker that you don't know well. I'm raising kids. I can't have weird rumors going around. Shiori tells Ikiru, it's not like I don't know you well. I thought your art was the simplest in this manga, so I started out by copying it as practice, and the more I did, the more I liked it. The more I could tell how much time and care was spent creating it, which is why I know you by your work. You could even say I am your fan. Ikiru says it makes it even more weird. Shiori says, then we'll start this relationship as friends. Ikiru says okay. Like what you saw, then don't forget to comment, like and share it to your friends, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel.